Welcome back, everyone. Have you ever wanted to take an image like this beautiful Renaissance painting forgery and place it into a totally differently shaped book or magazine like this one laying open on a table? You would need to warp and twist it perfectly to get a result that looks something like this? Well, let me show you how I did it using Affinity Photo 2. I started with a couple images that I generated from piclamen.com. The first was this picture of a table in a castle with a magazine about horses opened up at the middle. I'll go to File and then Place to open the second image of a Mona Lisa-like painting, and I'll use my cursor to drag it out onto my canvas. I'll leave the prompts I used to generate these images from PicLumen in the description. Alright, now I'm going to crop the new image into two equally sized pages. To do this perfectly, I'll use the arrow-shaped Move tool in the left-hand toolbar to move the image to the top left corner and resize it to an even number of pixels, like 400. Then, I'll click on the rectangular marquee tool in the left toolbar, and I'll use my cursor to drag a selection box from the midway point all the way over the left side. You can see from the icon to the left of the layer that this is an image layer and it needs to be a pixel layer to cut it in half. So, first, I'll right-click on the layer and scroll down to Rasterize to change it into a pixel layer. Now, I can simply click Command or Control X to cut out the left side of the image and then Command or Control V to paste it into a new layer. Okay, now I'll use the Move tool to move both sides of the image over near the book, and I'll zoom in a little closer. Then, I'll click on the wavy grid-shaped Mesh Warp tool in the left-hand toolbar. You'll see 6 round selection nodes on the image turn to 4 square warp nodes on the corner. I'll then click and drag each of these corner nodes to approximately the corners of the book. Now, once I move the nodes, you see these little handlebars pop up. You can use these to pull, turn, and stretch the image in just about any shape. And if you want more nodes with handlebars to make it easier to mold into shape, you can double-click on any edge to add a new grid line across the image with nodes on both ends. Notice that I can move the new nodes independently while the corner nodes stay in place. This helps me to bend the image to match the curve of the book nearly perfectly. It can get a little tricky working the image to match the curves of the book. You can actually turn the image over itself by accident, which gets a little confusing, but I find that if I take my time and work in small sections, I'll eventually get it pretty close and realistic. Alright, the left page is looking pretty good. Now let's move on to the right side. Once again, I'll select the image and then click on the Mesh Warp tool in the left-hand toolbar. Then, I'll move the first corner nodes into place and then slowly work the handlebars and the nodes. I'll add another grid line by double-clicking on it and keep working it all until everything lines up. Okay, I'll admit that I sped this up a bit. It really took me about twice as long to get this all into place, but I didn't want to bore you with my busy work. But here you go. The right page is now in place. One more thing, and then I'll let you return to your YouTube scrolling. I'm going to add some reflection from the windows and off of the book. There's more than one way to approach this, but I'm going to go to the Shapes drop-down in the left-hand toolbar and select the rectangle shape. I'll use my cursor to draw that out, and then I'll make sure it's on the top of the layer stack so we can see it. Next, I'll select the Convert to Curves button in the top toolbar. This is actually a lot like the Mesh Warp tool. You can drag on the corner nodes to stretch the rectangle into any four-sided figure. And you can add nodes to the sides by clicking on them. Also, if you want to add a new node with a curve, you can double-click on a side to add a node, and then select the Smooth button by the word Convert in the top toolbar to smooth the curve out. I'll do that to fit my curve to the page as best I can. Like the mesh warp tool, when you add a node, you get these little handlebars to help you mold the curve any way you want. Okay, that's good enough. I'll go up to the Fill color box and I'll make sure to set this to the Gradient tab with 3 nodes. Mine's set up already, but you can add a middle node by selecting the left node and then clicking Insert. Anyway, I started to change the opacity on the nodes, but I didn't like the angle of the gradient. So I went to the Gradient slider in the left-hand toolbar and dragged it across the curve until I got it lined up just the way I wanted it. Then I went back up to the color box and lowered the end nodes to around 5 or 6% opacity and kept the middle to around 60%. There, that looks pretty good. Alright, that's about it for today. If you learned something and want to see more of this kind of content, please click those like and subscribe buttons. And if you're feeling generous, this channel runs on caffeine. There's a link to buy me a cup of coffee in the descriptions. Not necessary, but certainly appreciated. Have a great day, everyone.